Hello again and welcome. I'm Lyle with 3am, where we believe that we are truly living in the time of the end. I'm excited today. We're going to be studying Daniel chapter 12. We're going to look at a time period. We're going to see where we're at in this time period. Is it the future? Is it the past? And I can't wait. We're going to look in who is the 144,000. Let's get started. Okay, everybody, we are at Daniel chapter 12, and let us begin our study. So, Daniel chapter 12, as you can see, it only has 13 verses. Very small chapter, but with a huge prophecy. I'd like to begin at verse 5, and this kind of tells us of what the vision looks like. So, he says, Daniel looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river and the other on that side of the bank of the river. Now, these two men are talking, and one asks a question. In verse 6, he asks, how long shall these wonders be? Now this begins our study, okay? So I'm hoping that you got a piece of paper, a pencil, and that you're writing this down. I want you to be proactive with me. Let us study, let us reason together, okay? So what I want you to do is write down on the top of your paper, wonders, okay? Wonders. Now, what wonders is this man talking about? Let's go back to verse 1, and it gives us these wonders, these events. And it says, at that time, Michael shall stand up. So Michael's going to stand up. Okay, that's an event. So let's highlight that. Michael stands up. Go ahead and put on your piece of paper, write down 1, Michael stands up. So when Michael stands up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. So there's another event. So let's highlight time of trouble. Write down on your piece of paper 2, time of trouble. So 1, Michael stands up. 2, time of trouble. Now, at this time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Now here's another event. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. So I'm going to highlight this. That's number 3. Go ahead and write that down. Number 3, thy people shall be delivered. So everyone that shall be found written in the book. So if you're written in the book, you will be delivered. Okay, let's go to verse 2. And many of them shall sleep in the dust of the earth, and they shall awake. There's our 4th event. Let me highlight that. So number 4, shall awake. So you could even write the resurrection. So when you awake at the end, you're resurrected. Some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Now verse 3, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. Okay, that's another event. The wise shall shine. So here we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5 is wise shall shine. Write that down. Okay, so now it should look like this. It should look like this on your piece of paper. So you wrote down wonders. These are the events of the wonders. Michael stands up, time of trouble, people shall be delivered, shall awake, and the wise shall shine. Now, this is going to be amazing. I get so excited. Now let's make a timeline out of this. So what we're going to do is draw a line. Just draw a line like this. And we're going to fill this out, okay? So here we have, let's go ahead and put another line. So just draw something like this. Leave all this kind of open a little bit so we can fill some stuff out. So now, if we look back, let's just do it in order. Michael stands up, time of trouble, and we'll go on just in order, okay? So let's look at this. Michael stands up. Let's go ahead and put this here. The time of trouble, that will go here. Okay. Okay, so here we go. It's all in order. So Michael stands up, time of trouble, delivered, shall awake and shine. Okay, everyone, so now we need a starting time right here. So when do we start this prophecy? Let's go back to Daniel 12, and it gives us the answer. It gives us the answer. So we find that in verse 11, and it says, "And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up." Now, where have you heard that before? The abomination that maketh desolate. Well, we heard it in another scripture that says the abomination of desolation. So we know that the abomination of desolation actually stands for Sunday law. Now I'm not gonna go into detail about that. There's studies out there, and I might even make a video about it. But for time's sake, we are gonna put Sunday law here. So that's our starting time. That's when this starts, okay? That's when this timeline starts. So here we have Sunday law starts, and there's a time frame, time shall pass, and then Michael will stand up. Now we know that when Michael stands up, that's the end of probation. So we can put here the end of probation, okay? Okay, everyone, we need a second witness to this timeline, and what I'm going to do is use Ellen White's Last Day Events book. Now this should verify everything that we've learned from the Bible, and this is our second witness. Now there's some blank spots that we're missing in the timeline, but as we read this, it's gonna be verifying the Bible and also filling in those spots. So let's go ahead and go to the index page right in the back, and it'll tell you what page to go to. We're not gonna go to every page, but we're just gonna verify where these events happen, and we'll fill in the blanks. So let's begin. So let's look at, we'll start at the time of little trouble, okay? So Adventists will be treated as traitors, and we're going to find out where this little time of trouble should go, should be inserted into our timeline. So all kinds of persecution during the little time of trouble, and here we go. It starts before probation closes. So before probation closes. Let's go back to our timeline. So here we go. We have probation, and it'll start before probation closes. So it should be somewhere here. So we'll add it here, a little time of trouble, okay? So here we go. Let's go back to the book. So here we go, little time of trouble. Let's read some other stuff. Every earthly support will be cut off in the little time of trouble. Injustice prevails in the courts. During this time, many martyrs and some imprisoned. Some imprisoned. Wow. Now let's look at the great time of trouble. So at this time, angels protect saints during the great time of trouble. Here we go. Battle against self continues during this time. It begins after probation closes. after probation closes. So let's go back to our timeline. So here's the end of probation, and it should be right after. So the great time of trouble. And let's go ahead and turn this one off. So here we have the little time of trouble. Probation ends, and now is the time of great trouble. Now let's see what happens in that time of great trouble. Let's go back to our book. And it says that bread and water is sure during this time. God's people are prepared for this time. God's people flee the cities in the great time of trouble. And God will provide food during this time. Houses and lands of no use, and many imprisoned in this time of great trouble. And I want you to remember this. Many laid to rest before the time of great trouble, okay? There's no intercessor during this time, and it will be terrible beyond comprehension. So many will be laid to rest. Let's look at this real quick. Here you have Sunday law, okay? So Sunday law passes, and time goes by, and yeah, there's going to be some martyrs. Remember that there's going to be earthquakes, and all this stuff is going to increase. So tornadoes, earthquakes, famine, and people are dying at this time. So many will be put to rest before this time of great trouble. Now, let's go back to our book. We have one more timeline, and that is the time of Jacob's trouble. So here we are. It is after the death decree. Okay, after the death decree. So let's go to our timeline. We could add another line here, and this is the death decree. So we don't know when. We'll just put it right in the middle, and there you go, the death decree. So the time of Jacob's trouble is going to be after the death decree. So we can add it right here. Now that looks about right. So step by step, we're going step by step. This is looking good. Now, time of Jacob's trouble. Here's the events. Saints have no wrongs to reveal in this time. We're going to talk about that. No wrongs to reveal. Saints not free from suffering, though, during this time. Saints not left to perish during this time. Why? Why are they not going to die? Why are they not going to perish? Why do we have no wrongs to reveal? And the saints will not lose their lives in this time of Jacob's trouble. Let's go back to the timeline. Now this is mind-opening. This is so clear to me right now. Here you have Sunday law passing. As time goes by, the Lord is having mercy on his people. And he's going to put some of us to sleep. Because after probation, this time frame right here is just so unbelievable. Why would you want your sons, your daughters, 5 years old, 10 years old, to go through this time of trouble? Is the Lord not love and mercy? We watch these movies of death, and it makes it seem like death is such a terrifying act. Like when you die, it's so terrifying, and that's just movie magic. That is so far from the truth. You know that God is amazing, because think about it. Even when you get in a fight at school, well, you ask the kid like, "What'd you go through? Like, what do you remember?" Well, I don't remember nothing. I was like in a tunnel, and that's the mechanism. That's the mechanism. He doesn't want you to go through uh, turmoil, and that's turmoil. Even that little fight, that's nothing, you know. But think about a car accident. I've had some friends that had some terrifying car accidents, and I'm like, nah, what'd you remember? And I don't remember nothing. Exactly. The Lord would never want you to remember a car accident where the car is flipping 50 times and you just remember every single instant. No. Once you get uh, that fear in you, it's like your brain shuts off and you don't remember nothing. And that's how death is. When you die, you sleep. It's so beautiful. You fall asleep. So here, as time goes on, when Sunday law passes, calamities are being more increased and more horrific. Now, yes, little ones are going to be laid to rest. Even older people. Why would you want your 90-year-old mother to go through this time of great trouble? So when probation ends, I forgot to add this, but when probation ends, this is when the 7 last plagues start. So that's the seven last plagues start here. Now this is biblical. I just gave you the Bible interpretation. I just got a second witness on this whole time frame. On this whole huge time frame from only 13 verses. Unbelievable. Now, I want to talk to you about the 144,000 right now. Now, this is so amazing to me. So amazing. So with this knowledge, we should know who the 144,000 are. Now let's read what the Spirit of Prophecy says about the 144,000. So here she says, upon the crystal sea before the throne, that sea of glass as it were mingled with fire, so resplendent is it with the glory of God, are gathered the company that have gotten the victory over the beast. Now, it's a company. It's a company. That's small. That's small. So she sees a little company. And they gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name. With the Lamb upon Mount Zion, having the harps of God, they stand. Who? This company, they stand, the 144,000 that were redeemed from among men, that were redeemed. And there is heard as the sound of many waters, and as the sound of a great thunder, the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sing a new song before the throne, a song which no man can learn, save the 144,000. It is the song of Moses and the Lamb. Now here's a key. A song of deliverance. A song of deliverance. None but the 144,000 can learn that song, for it is a song of their experience. An experience. So this little company, the 144,000, they were delivered. They had an experience such as no other company have ever had. So here we have a company. Wow, this little group of people, this 144,000, they had an experience such as no other company has ever had. these have been translated from the earth. And who are these people? They came out of great tribulation. They have passed through the time of trouble. Where did we see that at? They came through the time of trouble. And look at this. They have endured the anguish of the time of Jacob's trouble. Unbelievable. This is getting me so excited. They have stood without an intercessor through the final pouring out of God's judgments. I hope you're using your spiritual mind right now and the timeline that we just learned. Let's go back to this timeline. I'm so excited. I am so excited. Look at this. The 144,000 went through an experience, right? They went through the time of trouble, and they went through the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay? So they went through the time of great tribulation, the time of trouble, and Jacob's trouble. This small company. Now, I want you to look at this chart. I'm going to look at this part right here. Okay, now, I think this is important to learn. Why? Because we're going to go through a time that is so unbelievable, and we need the faith of Jesus, and we need to learn everything we could learn and put all our trust in Him. All our trust in Him. We need to go back and learn about death. What does it mean to die again? We need to go back and learn about the promises of God, the resurrection. We need to go back and learn all those pillars and reinforce those, because we're going to need them at this little time of trouble before the end of probation. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why. Look at this chart. Now, here we have Sunday law starts here. Sunday law starts. Let me put that for you. So here we have Sunday law. Ooh. So Sunday law starts, okay? And this is our timeline till Michael stands up, okay? Probation is over. Now, let me do this here. Okay, so when Sunday law starts, now this is, I'm just giving a number. This has no biblical, it's not biblical numbers or anything like that, okay? So, I don't even know. Is there 9 billion people in the world? I don't know. So, let's just say there's 9 billion people in the world when Sunday law starts, okay? And I don't even know how many saved people. Okay, maybe 22 million. I don't know. I just want to make a point, okay? So when Sunday law passes, let's say there's 9 billion and there's only 22 million that are saved. Now at this time, calamities are happening, okay? So there's earthquakes, tsunamis, tornadoes, but as time goes by, it's going higher and higher. There's more tornadoes, more earthquakes, famine, and it's getting more extreme. Now, let me ask you a question. As these calamities go higher and higher, do you think that there's more deaths? I believe so. So, as there's more tornadoes, more and more people are dying. Okay? So now you have 9 billion that are unsaved. As time goes by, there's only 5 billion. And now only 15 million saved. As time goes by, people are getting martyred, okay, for their faith. They're speaking about Jesus. They're putting people in jail. There's more murders, more tornadoes, and now there's only 7 million saved and 4 billion in the world that are unsaved. Now, could it be that when probation closes, that there is only 144,000 saved? I believe so. I believe so. Now let's put this in perspective. So here you have Sunday Law passes. She says, let me read you this from Last Day Events, page 36. An angel says, some food for thorns, some subjects of the 7 last plagues, some will be alive and remaining upon the earth to be translated at the second coming of Jesus. Wow! Some will be alive at the 7 last plagues. Some will be alive. This is found in Last Day Events, page 37. She says, the hour will come, it is not far distant, and some of us who now believe will be alive upon the earth and shall see the predictions verified and hear the voice of the archangel and the trumpet of God. Amazing. So some of us will be alive to verify these events. Can you see now? The 144,000 are the only ones alive at the end of probation. At the end of probation, these 144,000 are the ones that can withstand the time of trouble, that can withstand the time of Jacob's trouble. Now remember that she says that we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry. The angels will protect the saints. Remember when she was talking about the great time of trouble? The great time of trouble. She says the angels protect the saints. Remember that the battle against self continues. It begins after probation. God's people are prepared for this hour. God's people flee the cities, and God will provide food and houses and land of no use anymore. And there's no intercessor, and it's terrible beyond comprehension. So ask this question: why would he provide food at this time? Well, look, we already know who's saved. It's the end of probation. We already know who's saved or lost. He does not have to prove anything to us, and we don't have to prove anything to him. We've already proven that we choose Jesus and not the beast. We did not take his mark, the mark of the beast, and we made it to the end of probation. And he spared our lives. And he knows that we can stand in the time of great trouble. And even if we die, what a mercy. Thank you, Lord. You know, I have kids, and I pray all the time, Lord, please show them mercy and give me the strength and wisdom and knowledge to know that you are giving them mercy if they die. Now, when you look at this, should we worry? Should we really worry when Jesus comes back? This is when Jesus comes back, okay? The wise shall shine, the resurrection. Do we need to worry what day or time Jesus is coming back? No. Wow, we need to worry about the end of probation. The end of probation, that's the time that we need to worry about. Now, since we don't know when Sunday law passes, then time is irrelevant right now. I can tell you that it's going to last 3.5 years, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter when there's earthquakes and tornadoes and all this famine and persecution and murders. It doesn't matter. Time does not matter right here. Because you're either going to die or you love God so much that and you have the faith of that's so strong that you could even know the day and the hour and you still won't fall. And you're going to go through the time of great trouble and Jacob's trouble. I'm telling you, if you're worried about time, then I could probably say that you're probably not going to make it. You're probably not going to make it. If you want to know exactly when probation ends, so you can have time to change now. Change now. We don't know when Sunday law passes. Ellen White says that it passes in darkness. In darkness. We don't even know if it was a year ago or 2 years ago. We just don't know. But you don't even know when you're going to die. You don't even know when you're going to die right here. I saw a video of a tsunami that hit a concert. Can you imagine just singing and you think you're going to live forever and all of a sudden water just takes the stage. Unbelievable. You have no idea. Your probation can end at any time here. Now, I want to be a part of the 144,000. I want to go through this time. I want to verify. I want to see the predictions that the Bible gave. And guess what's awesome? When Jesus comes back, the people that died, my kids or my wife maybe, I'll meet them. I'll meet them here at the resurrection and we'll go to heaven together. And guess what? We're going to have an audience in heaven. And I'll explain to everybody that died that didn't see the time of Jacob's trouble. And I'm going to say, you know what? That at the time of great trouble, God protected me. God protected me through the 7 last plagues. They tried to kill me. They did a death decree. And God protected me. I went through the time of Jacob's trouble. I was in the mountains. I fled the cities. I was living in the depths of the rocks. And guess what? God fed me. He gave me water. Amazing. Amazing. Now, is this the future? Yes. Yes. Is it the past? Now, you know what? I thank God for this message. I thank Him so much because now I can prepare. I can prepare for the future. I can prepare for the events that are going to come. I can prepare myself if I die, or I can prepare myself to be a part of the 144,000. Now my plea to you, this is not to scare you. It is not to scare you to change, but to maybe just open your eyes. Open your eyes to these events that are going to come. I showed you through the Bible itself. I got a second witness to verify these events. I even verified the 144,000 on who they are. Now you just got to make a decision. You're going to have a choice. A choice to get the mark of the beast when Sunday law passes. You're going to have to make a choice between buying and selling. You're going to see all these things happen. Earthquakes, tornadoes. Are you going to have the faith to go through this time frame? We need to study. We need to study, grasp the promises of God, and internalize them. Because that's what we're going to need. We're going to need every word of God. Every word of God, so that we can make it to the time of the end of probation. I pray that I'm ready. I pray that you are ready. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Thank you all.